Hey team, how we going? It is Kaz and Achilles, and we just want to say Happy New Year before it gets here and ask you what you expect. Don't run around like a headless chook, like this one. Go and get some protein, buddy. Love you. Mm, you're all that I want, you're all that I need. Sorry for those who aren't in the musical era. Boys and girls, we're here. Just over 24 hours until the new year is upon us. I'm asking you to start thinking now while you're sitting there. What are 3 to 5 things that you think, expect are going to happen in 2023? I'm not seeing any happy kapuka socks at this stage from anyone. I've got some great things. Some great things happen this year. Before we start, I'd like to do some call outs before I ring Lauren and let her help me, join me for tonight. It's important that I don't do this individually. What we might even do is try Buckaroony later on as a family favourite to see if he wants to jump on, but he sounds like he's twisted a few metal caps off, if you understand what I'm talking about. The call outs I want to do first is Daz, who is down in South Australia, the land of the single mums, right now. And what he's doing is building dikes. And I don't mean the LGBT community, okay, using his looks to turn women into women loving women. What it's about is he is helping with the flood assistance. And at the moment, it seems like the tide is coming up slowly with the Murray River. They're doing a fantastic job down there, dodging snakes, doing the building, doing God's work. And I really hope the people of South Australia, who rarely have a voice, get some reprieve from this one, because it's going to be a slow, deliberate disaster at this stage. The second one, so can we get some thumbs up there for Daz? D-A-Z, we'll give him the Z. DMZ is what Dave Penson from Vietnam at the moment is thinking. But then we've also got lovely Ellie. Ellie is one of our Patreon members who was about to go and do a fitness test, getting ready for enlistment in 2023 in the Australian Army. But through some frivolities and playing and living life through sports, she's just blown her knee to bits, and she's going to have an operation. It's not a sprain, it's a tear. Her meniscus has gone to shit. That's a big word for me. Ellie is, her father's not with her anymore either. So he can't tell her he's pissed off that she's got a tattoo and she wants to get finished, but not actually get a second one. But it was lovely to talk to her and know that she's got family and a partner who supports her, and she's getting into paramedicine and stuff like that. She's already been doing it. So can we get some thumbs up for Ellie? And at the moment, mate, you're back in the pile, and we wish you the best in a speedy recovery for 2023. But understand there is time that needs to go by before you can get back on the wagon, so to speak. So Ellie, keep it up, mate. That's what she said. Okay, I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 premonitions for 23. I've got them down here. I'm going to ring Lauren in a second so I can see what yours are. And let's ask what they are at the moment. Lauren, don't cheat. Don't take other people's. Seen a lot of thumbs up there. Well done. Eddie, Ellie, Elizabeth is her name. Scarecrow with a gun. There we go. Davinator. That's more than one Dave, I'd guess, or a Dave defeater. We've got Bailey's hat flung onto Elton John's bed, which means it's his home. Peter Mayfield, the Pacadari's there. Buckaroony is asleep on the keyboard. And Scotty, we still need to have another phone call, mate. I'm looking forward to it. Guys and gals, let's start this stream with Coca-Cola. Genuine, not Pepsi. And, one of my fears for Coca-Cola, if you're going to invest in them, is Pepsi's replace their entire fleet with a Tesla truck, which means you won't be allowed to buy Coca-Cola in the USA as an enterprise and keep within the boundaries of the climate resistance, the climate change fiasco. So that's a scary thing, but a great thing if you have got Pepsi shares. Drunk Drop Bear, good to have you here, mate. Then, just so you know, it's Eddie Fourth A, Scarecrow. So Scarecrow is from the USA, just got back from Syria. Now, can we get some thumbs up for our US 11 Bravo infantry recipient who's in the house right now. Thank you, mate, for respecting our time zone, which is completely different to yours, mate. And a happy new year back in the USA. Born in the USA. Who's saying that? I know we're showing our age here. Let's just say he's the boss. Don't get that mixed up with Miss Milano, who used to be amazing. Back in the States, if the family didn't tell you, mate, have a look at your Instagram. I've been answering that one. I'm stoked to have you back. Anthony Jones. We saw, who else we had? James Kemple up there. Thank you very much. Our latest Patreon recipients. Now, good to have you here. We've got Macca as well. We've got Huss here and a whole bunch of others. Simon Powell, how's your Fitbit going, mate? Good to have you here too. So I've got my 5 things. I'm going to ring Lauren now, see what she comes up with before I tell you what mine are. Simon Powell, Bruce Springsteen, well done. Swing the arm. We are the world. We are the world. We are the children. Children. Stevie Webb, I have some bad news. Yesterday, a bloke I went to school with passed away. Stevie, I'm sorry about that, mate. You on a Mac now, Kaz? Not yet, Bucko. I've got 1/5 of this screen is smashed to pieces at the moment. But I'm going to go to Mac. Mac Daddy. What was I looking at? Here we go. So we've got Mac Attack, who's just joined us on Patreon. We've got James Kemple. We've got Scotty. We've got Pete. We've got Alex. I shouldn't be saying your full names here, team. We've got H. We've got Brad. We've got Matty Waters. We've got Nathan. You know, our latest Patreon members. Only had one leave so far this month. Great to have you here. Welcome aboard. Guys and gals, if this is your first time here, we're an Australian channel. We like to keep it real on here. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel, and you've got and your voice, you've got freedom of speech in the chat here. Now, if those are in blue, as long as you're not attacking another human in here or saying something that's going to get our channel taken down even further, despite the fact it's shadow banned already, then fill your boots and jump in and have a happy new year, and let's start it with a bang. So she said, hey, Matt, it was great to meet you the other day at the bookshop. You're a true legend, my friend. Hey, thanks, Simmy, man. And it was great to see you and your partner there reading the books. Mine is still in the bag outside, mate. But good to have you here, mate, and knowing that you're in the Bronx with me. Here we go. Let's see if Lauren answers her phone. Peter, it happens, bro. That black dog bites everyone, eh?
Good evening.
Guten Tag. Do you like the simplicity of the smiley face in the side?
I love it. Do you remember in the 80s, all those smiley faces sort of became popular?
Well, the Forrest Gump hat as well.
Yeah.
So, Lauren, great to have you here as we're getting ready to go into the new year. 2020 to 2022, those 3 years all up, I guess if you actually said to people to take stock, there'd be 100 things that were great as well. But there seemed to be a dishonesty to this world and a gloom, a blanket, a haze, a fog of war. It feels like we're starting the mission again. If I was to ask you, they don't have to be good, they don't have to be bad, but what are your premonitions I asked you earlier to come up with? Have you thought of?
Yeah, I have. I've got lots of things written down actually. I thought there's things that I'm worried about. There's things I'm kind of excited about. You know, if you look hard enough, you can find reasons to be excited. But the reasons that I'm worried about, they're maybe not the things that I first thought. The easy ones for me were Ukraine. There's some other things that we probably just can't mention here are obvious ones. And then I thought, actually, what I'm really worried about is more government overreach. And I'm worried about losing freedom. Even though, countries don't always have a bill of rights. There's like this basic presumption of what people should be, allowed to have.
Yep. Can you clarify?
Well, like what I'm saying is like, remember before 9/11, what it was like to go air travel?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember how society changed and were just accepted since then? And how it really never stopped escalating?
Yep.
And then we had and we lost more. So that's what I'm worried about is government.
Hashtag me too on that one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's probably my
Because
number one that I'm worried about.
the scary thing is there are so many people that absolutely want the government to control everything, including the food that goes in their own mouths via a wooden spoon. It's weird that they want to give up so much. You know?
I want regulation. There's ridiculousness.
Yep.
You know, this is ridiculousness because I feel so badly lost their businesses from the pandemic, who now, well, we all won't bother about it anymore.
All the middle class people that lost generations of wealth, and no one's ever going to say goodbye to them.
Yeah,
It was an economic disaster that is worse than the floods, worse than the fires.
There's some people who have had such bad years, and it's not looking any better next year because my other concern, probably number 2 on my list, inflation, combined with the weather systems we've had. Like, I'm worried about a return to the 1920s Dust Bowl of America, with our food shortages and our problems like that. I'm a bit worried about the supplies, inflation, and I think that's probably fair.
Okay, I think they're very valid, and maybe I've even got a couple of those down there. I'm going to expand on or extrapolate a little bit in a moment.
I've shown you mine. You show me yours.
I shall. But this is also for you guys to look at. I agree, Scotty. Stop reading books. Audible is the way because then you get context to what you're hearing as well, and then you can listen to it 3 times instead.
However, I love books. I love
of course
the
you
feel
do.
of them.
You love the
It's so
smell of them.
tactile.
Okay, Steve Webb says the scariest phrase ever. We're from the government and we're here to help. Yep, absolutely.
No, let us live our lives. Let us live in peace. Let us be creative. Let us have our homes, fun.
But you can absolutely love your country, but just not like your politicians. So let's not ever get that mixed up.
Exactly. Just don't expect
it. Yeah. John Rambo. He just wants his country to love him back.
You saw what I did there.
I did. Okay, so I'm going to move into some of those points again. My first one that I put here, in no particular order, but an order, is the open wound that's occurring in the world at the moment. The obvious open wound between NATO, Russia, and Ukraine. The reason for that is it feels like it's deliberately being kept going. It's not that there's not a peaceful outcome that can be arranged, but both sides are trying to keep it going. Both sides.
Because it suits people. It's the same as this government overreach.
Yeah.
It suits them to have it keep going.
Once again, we're seeing those in the share market. They're at the highest levels of Western democracy countries who are making money hand over fist, while those of lower and patriotic, the salt of the earth people are in the trenches while their leader is in America receiving awards. I can't believe that Zelensky did that. That was really untactful. Yeah. He came up short, so to speak. It wasn't. So I want there to be peace there because Russia's getting ready for their second mobilisation. It's about to occur.
Yeah, you were telling me, but I don't really know about
it. Yeah. So that's another 100 or so thousand people that they want to take from the streets. Making people who used to have a soft border now have a hard border and potentially may never get back to that in this generation. And there's those that have and those that have not. Those that are fighting, while having the illusion that there's people that are fighting that aren't, making it look like we're all one group, so to speak, when it's not. So that. The next one is the stock market.
Okay. What do you think is going to happen with that?
I don't know. I believe that.
It's got to do with what happened with my Dust Bowl. It's like I hope it doesn't happen, but there's this inflation.
Well, the stock market is what determines a lot of this. We've been openly lied to about our inflation. Our inflation is above 30%, I believe. And I'll explain that in a second. But the stock market, the reason why I get scared about that is because I think of our elderly population who have retired, who are retiring, and their retirement that is attached through their superannuation, which goes directly into stock market indices, means that the money that should be coming to them is going to be potentially even halved in some areas. Now we're not getting hit as hard as the US, but we're getting hit directly. The ASX is getting hit in direct proportion in many ways to the S&P 500 and other world things. We have oil in Australia. There is oil in the US. We don't export anything. And we are getting absolutely pants ripped off at the moment.
God,
So the stock market, it's impossible for people to be happy.
Sister's here.
Lisa Clark, what have you ever done for me?
Oh, come on. Don't be wicked. Hi, Lisa.
You know why she's here? Because she knows tomorrow I hit the road to go, and I don't mean with my fist. I don't want to damage any infrastructure.
No.
I'm going on the road to go and get my sister a photo of where she grew up with her sister that we've lost. God bless her soul, Trina Caswell. So that I can get her the ultimate Christmas gift for her wall.
This was the road trip that got put up. Oh,
yep.
The road trip. How great a family.
Except
when they suck, they're great.
But I'd have the best family road trips because I don't take my family, which makes me even better.
You're not going on a road trip there together?
No. Kristen was India has to. They've got a population of 1 point something billion. They don't have to be your friend to buy your produce, just like we buy things from China.
Exactly. And look, Spartan Soldier said something a bit contentious because I don't think I agree with it. But he doesn't think so. Economically, it's not in any country's interest for there to be a war. But I don't agree with that. History tells us something different. History tells us that war is very, very good.
It's extremely profitable for those that carry pens.
Yes, indeed. It's always been very, very profitable.
Since Rome, when like Rome politicians were killed sometimes, but since then, politicians almost survive every conflict.
Yep. And Simon had a wonderful Christmas with his daughter, first real years.
Well done, mate.
Great Christmas all round. I think that's great.
That is a great one.
How's your Christmas, Kaz, before we go any further?
Well, I spent it with my daughter, and I showered her in financial booty and bounties and dolls, rainbow dolls. I don't like the name rainbow, but you know,
whatever.
I got her heaps of gifts. She was, she said she was grateful. I don't know. She's a mummy's girl, but she's at the coast at the moment, and I'll see her tomorrow before I head up the coast. So and I got to see mum and dad, which was excellent.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, next one, inflation. I think our inflation is going to continue to go up because it's not being pushed up by the government. It's getting pushed up by price gouging businesses within Australia that have monopolised our areas. Yep. You know, and now it's not uncommon to go and buy a pizza, and not only will those greedy fucks, you know, charge you so much for a pizza, but then they'll charge you $6 for a bottle of Coke, and then say you're going to use a card, and then make it like a $2.50 tariff to use an FPOS. It costs them nothing.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, it's good, especially if you've got employees, like you've got to.
But it's still But it's still like charging extra for hay bales to farmers in a drought.
There's daylight robbery and decent business.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So when you go out and inflation and you're buying things, we're seeing at the moment, they're saying it's 7.2 or something. You're going, there's nothing that you can find that hasn't gone up between 50 and 150%. So it can't possibly be 7%. I understand the CPI, I understand inflation and quantitative tightening, etc. But with that tightening, where the rates, where the interest rates go up, etc., that makes things go up in price. I understand they can swap out and go, strawberries are this expensive. That's going to look bad for inflation. Let's swap with blueberries that are cheaper at the moment. So it's all watch this hand while this hand cheats you.
Exactly.
It's disgusting.
With availability and that. Yeah, I understand. And there was always going to be folks who advantage, but they seem to have lost their moral compasses a bit more now, and they're willing to take advantage at all costs.
Because they don't walk. Because they don't walk amongst us. That's why. When you're a politician, you don't pay for milk, you don't pay for rent, you don't pay for petrol, you don't pay for electricity. But then you tell us it's okay. We're just going to have some hard times. You're going, come on, mate.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a bit sick of that rubbish, which is kind of like one of my points too. I think we're not the only ones who are sick of that. I think there's an awful lot of folk on all sides of who are And I think they're also a bit sick of us all being kept frightened and afraid. If it's not this, it's that. And that's so they can go for that government over it.
Well, if you take away people's means to have good things, then it's easy to then keep them on the lead by offering them Scooby snacks, so to speak. Redman is saying that a pack of tubes was $3.50 for the family pack. Now it's $6 or $5.95.
Yeah. I know our prices have gone up quite badly, but I'm not sure if that's because we're on an island or what's going on. Petrol prices, who knows? How does your sister like her bacon?
How does she like it?
Does she love it?
Still attached to the animal. I bought her a soccer ball ham for Christmas. I love ball sports. What's your favourite sport? Oh, a soccer ball ham. Yeah.
We didn't find any ham this Christmas. We had some earlier, and then they gobbled it all up. We had like a prawn salmon.
Do you all remember what the Japanese word for ham is?
No.
Ham.
Oh, what's
It's the same. This is the one that I think is the biggest problem we've got. The very, very biggest we've got. And it started, it's a TikTok problem, it's an Instagram problem, it's a Facebook problem. And that is, it's the social decline. What that is, you absolutely should be shameful of things that you do in the absence of supervision that make you go in a downward spiral. You know, we call things that are a lack of what would we say? Poor judgment. Now we call it disease. Whether it be gambling, whether it be drugs, whether it be eating, whether it be stealing, whether it be drink driving, whether it be speeding in cars, whether it be the way we treat others. The social decline is everyone seems to have an excuse other than the fact that I'm not very good at my discipline over moderating myself.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that is something
they're
we
not accountable.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop making excuses for your own behavior, or even worse, projecting that to others that it's not their fault, so that that becomes they're good to go. I'm a big believer at the moment that we need to claw back the judicial system before we end up with like the USA. And I think
we need to shake all bloody
shake the tree. Everybody reckons Indigenous voice in Parliament is more important than the cost of living or defence. Look, at the moment, you know, we need to start bringing back the truth. That's what we need to start bringing back.
I think up there, the housing crisis, that's really bad. That seems to be affecting every state pretty much equally. I think it maybe was Airbnb or something, houses that would have entered and now sit empty.
Yeah, it's it used to be a common thing to have negative gearing, own a second property, all that sort of stuff. But now we see more and more often that they don't even cover the bills anymore. You know, now people get caught with properties they can't get out because now the house prices are dropping and people don't want to sell at a loss to have realised losses, etc. And Airbnbs aren't getting booked out, or they probably are at the moment, depending on where you're at. But you're not going to have that spare cash to buy it in Byron Bay, to buy it in Bondi Beach, to buy it in all those supply and demand areas. So they normally buy where they can afford it. And the flip side of that coin is, if you can afford it, chances are people don't want to be there.
Good night, Lisa.
Hey, see you later, sis. I can't wait to get this photo for you.
She's not going. That's my mistake. Smoky. Sorry, talk amongst yourselves. My apologies. Okay, Smokey's got a question for you.
And God versus Satan, I totally agree with you. I am saying it's manufactured, but we've also got to take all of the responsibility on ourselves for what we do.
Yeah, exactly. We're not victims.
Yep.
You know, we're not helpless.
Yep.
Smokey B asked, what is your opinion on Top G? Top G getting arrested?
Yep.
I don't even know what that means.
I reckon that is it's bullshit. I don't think it's legit. We're talking about Andrew Tate there.
Okay.
They've been hunting him for a while because he's so goddamn successful with what he's done. And in actual fact, it's young men's need for that male influence that made him popular. But then it was doubled down on by those that hated him, that tried to counsel him, that made people look in his direction and say, what's going on there? So I reckon it's going to pan out. It's the same as Elon Musk. It's the same as Mr. T.
Yep.
I think he's innocent as hell, but there's some people with an axe to grind because happiness doesn't belong in their heart, I guess, or the jealousy, the corporate jealousy people have over others. Remember, once you get to a certain amount of wealth, it doesn't matter whether you have Elon Musk money or whether you have $2 million. You can still eat in all the same places, go to the same locations, go to the beach, choose to retire if you wish, all that sort of stuff. So you don't need to be a billionaire. But yeah, people tend to get very jealous of those that have been successful in their decisions, and that's not
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
I've been successful.
I don't have time for pity parties. If
No.
I catch myself doing it, I quickly snap out of it. Yeah. I tell you what, something I'm excited about.
Okay, Cat in the Hat. What are you excited about?
If you'd like one. I'm actually pretty excited about what's space, like the Artemis project.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
It's the space shuttle. I don't think there's anything defined. That's the thing. I think a lot of the space travel per se, because you're never going to be able to go as far as the telescopes are. So what I think some of it is finding resources in other areas that can be tapped into and mined.
And I'm not against it.
No, neither am I.
Yeah. I'm liking the innovation, and from that comes other things. From war space exploration, we get Teflon, or we get blood transfusion, and that's how we get our technologies.
Alien blood.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Hey, Maddie, that HT that you're talking about there, yeah, I don't acknowledge that as a, what would you call it, as a thing these days, because it is so broad between is there intent, is there consent, etc. When someone says those two words together, I don't even know what they're talking anymore. It used to mean something completely different to the vagueness it means now. Just like assault these days can be just words. I always
don't understand that.
I always need clarification before I actually start to lean into it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you do need to.
It's the higher you get in this life, team, you're going to face the fact that the higher you get, you are going to get the detractors that are going to come after you.
Oh, that's true. Exactly. You can almost measure your success by how many people can get in your way.
Yeah. Well, they say you know that you're doing a good job when you're copping flack. That means you're over the target.
Exactly. Something I am worried about a little bit, but there's nothing really we can do about it, I don't think,
Yep.
is the Pacific Rim at the moment is rumbling, and we've got a lot of volcanoes, a lot of earthquake activity. San Francisco the other day. So I think there might be a bit of that business this year. Now they'll say
You reckon San
change.
Andreas Fault is going to open its legs?
Well, it already San Francisco just that, I believe. There was quite a lot of damage just the other week.
Well, it's already considered one of the world's biggest shitholes, so maybe it's overdue. The depravity that's happening over there should not be allowed to happen, especially in a first world country. It is disgusting.
Yeah, exactly, Mr. Buccaroni. This interesting climate, remember they used to say, may you live in interesting times. That was a curse, not a blessing. And sadly, we live in interesting times. And like I said, I'm worried about this dust bowl of the 20s meeting this political climate of the late 1800s. And it's quite interesting.
Yeah, it's it's a tough one. There's definitely going to be those that have and those that have not soon enough.
Yeah, we've got to tighten our belt, and we've got to look after each other out there.
You got to do it to them before they do it to you. What show is that from, Mr. Buckaroo? You've got to know this one.
I don't think I know that.
Do it to them before they do it to you. Another Great Depression.
I'm a little bit worried about it for some nations, Peter, because there's been a lot of drought at the same time as inflation. I said that with the air quotes, and so it's looking worrisome for some folk. House, like Mr. Buccarini said, house repayments, and a lot of people got themselves accidentally into trouble by going and a big mansion.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for those folk because it's going to be hard to find a new house. This housing crisis will be sorted out immediately, and I'm not sure how we.
And that would be a good thing for Australians in the street and Australians in the bushland areas across the fabric of Australia, for them by face to face, not by online, to go and ask what are the real problems and then amalgamate those and create some solutions based on Australia's wants and needs, not just on the politicians' ones, so that people actually feel like they're being listened to.
Yeah, but let's also not forget, like we said, let's not forget that hatred blue. We're still here. We are our people, Australian. No matter how you got here, we have we're famous for our ingenuity. So Scott, even if you do lose the house this year, I believe that you can hang on until that crisis is over.
Yeah, it's tough when you.
We all go through crises. We're here, in any way we can.
And I hate hearing that, Scotty, because I never know how many people depend on you, and for you to keep the stiff upper lip while you're looking at them in the face, and they're wondering why you don't smile as much anymore.
Stress before, anything. One divorce or something can lead to housing stress quickly. People think it won't happen, and it can happen to anyone.
Well, I'll be temporarily homeless for the next 9 days in my
But that's
in the
not
van.
homeless when you got your van.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, see, that's the spirit, Scott. That's the spirit. That's what Australians have. Ever since we got here, we've having to survive and organs to figure out how to do it.
Pete, that's an interesting one. Peter's brought up Peter Mayfield, because not Tesla, Elon Musk is also with Boxable.
Work of going to change the world.
They won't let it. Now,
I know.
the thing is, what he's talking about, the 3-bedroom houses that are getting fabricated by concrete in a week and all that sort of stuff. There's a house for around $30,000 US that Elon Musk has made. It's called Boxable. It takes a couple of hours to set up. The problem is, there's two things. Is you don't want the people to live beside you that can afford those houses that you can't get away from, because that will be a bogan trap. You will not want to live there. At the same time, what's going to occur is the government won't let people get away with $30,000 houses being beside other houses. Will it be like a new caravan park that has got these $30,000 houses on it? I don't know. But they're not going to allow that money to disappear from stamp duty that comes with everyone trying to get ahead. The government doesn't do well when everyone's got a surplus of money. They do it when everyone's grinding on the wheel, doing the jobs that you don't necessarily want to do because you didn't make a career choice when you were younger. And now we're seeing more and more of our young people that actually think McDonald's is a career, or think at the coffee shop is a career. And they're not getting taught the difference between a job and an actual career.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we need to be creative, Peter. You're right. I think we need a new estates that look outside the box and do some stuff. But that work of the, as you know, for a couple of years, has been the most exciting thing I'm most excited about.
Awesome. I love it.
Just like the original, if it's really going to benefit people and he's going to give it to people, they'll try and stop it.
Yeah,
I don't even know who they is. Everyone has a different idea of who they is.
Don't give people too much credit. I think that what was I going to say about houses?
No idea.
I believe that next year we're actually going to see a launch of the Pi phone. We keep hearing rumors of it. It makes absolutely. Well, that is the phone that Elon Musk wants to make, and basically what it's using as a template is that the iPhone 14, that the Pi phone will beat the iPhone 14 in every single metric. The base model will be better than any Apple phone that's ever existed. And the reason why I know he's going to do that phone is because it doesn't make sense for him to have the world's best Starlink internet that Buckarooni's got and not have something that pairs with it.
Yeah, it was probably part of the plan.
It's part of the plan. And
There's probably a really long game.
yeah, well, like Tesla shares are falling at the moment. People forget that Tesla is one company. Starlink is another company. The Boring is another company. Boxable is another country, another one. The PiPhone is another company. So that means that you can't take down Elon Musk, with one chop.
Put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
You have your finger in a lot of pies.
Yeah. We'll be living under a hoochie again soon. Not when I've got this van, Bucko. They're going to find me. I'll take the number plate off.
Oh, he's talking about him. Are you going to take in him and Roz and Rafa?
I don't let my own family come with me, mate. How about you come with me for 2 years, and if it doesn't work out, then I'll grab Roz and the dog.
It's hard. It's hard, but you know what's really important? If it does get harder, but even if you're feeling down and things are really bad, if you've got the ability to come back here, and because it's morale, we don't talk about it in our normal lives much.
Well, like you can look, for example, you get to come on here and have conversations you can't necessarily have. One of my favourite subscribers, his name, I won't talk about it here, because he's a serving member, but he's only 21 years old. But when we talk about finances, you would not think that I'm 51 and he's 21.
Yeah, I love that. That must be wisdom.
It's amazing. It bridges the gap. He's got his own excitement. He comes in hot, blue flame, all the ideas, and we swap ideas. And I give him the wisdom of what I know now from starting investing late.
Yeah.
But I can see in him, I can see me where I wished I'd been when I was his age. So he's got actual time to tinker with this and be the best possible version of himself.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's right, Nicole. Morale doesn't exist if people keep pulling down. It's true.
That's exactly right, because when people raise up, get jealous or they aren't taking accountability and others down.
Do you know one of the saddest things I've said, and this is, it's got a racial content to it, was when you would see soldiers that were Fijian, when you'd see soldiers that were from Thursday Island, Aboriginal soldiers, etc. They'd come over and they'd work as hard as everyone else in uniform. But then when they'd come home, everyone would be waiting for them, all the cousins, everyone. And there'd be just drink trays just all the way down the bar. But then when the money disappears, they're by themselves again. And then they're back to their only friends were the ones that were in the section with them.
Yeah.
And I used to hate seeing that because they were the most lovely people. Yeah. Be careful of opportunists, team.
Oh, yes, indeed. You have to. And you have to remember, the people I've met and been friends with from before I was a tattoo artist are very valuable to me, because once you've got something that people, you're going to have to be really careful. Remember, people have agendas and motives.
They do. And sorry, James Morris there. He's talking about he's got some T-shirts from the Zulu movie, the merch shop, Fixed Bayonets, Volley Fire with Michael Caine, etc.
Great movie.
I put that movie on. I'm such a dickhead. We just called you out before, Daz. There he is.
There he is.
I put on Zulu while we're in Africa, and they came in, and all they could see was the British soldiers shooting down the Zulus, and the lovely black people that worked with us in the hospital were looking like, what the hell is going on? We had to tell them, it's a movie. It's a movie. I'm going to put on a different background for us here.
I love being on here too, Jane. I'll be on here a lot more. Now I've got learned what I wanted to learn about painting. I'm good.
I just put another photo on here. Where'd it go? Hey, James Morris, how you going? He likes our affinity with the Zulu there. 2 seconds, mate. I'm going to give you some respect here.
Yeah, what have we got going on?
So this is a picture of where I'm going to be. I paid for the trip today.
Exciting.
So you can see in the background the Ganji. the way those towers and the stairs come down to the water is insane. James, I'm going to throw this to you. Time to hurt your hand in 3, 2, 1. Glasses off. Thank you very much. And the Green Eye Oracle. Thank you, James Morris. Zulu, fix bayonets. Something we say we don't need anymore until we need it.
That's exactly right.
I don't need a man, but this jar's really giving me a hard time.
Oh, I don't need a man.
It did. A tree fell down. The hanging tree fell down in Lauren's yard.
Oh, it's huge. It's okay. I don't even want to talk about it one day. Too soon.
James, a new guy at work, said he has a friend who would show Zulu to all his kids and new people. Mate, the fear they would have had, because remember, for those that don't know, that was at Rorke's Drift where 4,000 Zulus attacked them. But the thing that made this so scary was the fact that Islam Lawana happened only just before that, where more than 1,000 British soldiers were killed. You know, they were routed. The colours lost everything. So they would have absolutely panicked when every person looks fitter than you. You know, it would not, and they're all attacking. The only way you can die is by kinetic energy. Not good. Wish I could send the picture in the chats. I'm sure you do. Imagine that. If people would send pictures in chat, we'd be sacked so quickly. Should we drink some of the water of the Genji?
How many duck people we get in there? Oh, look, no, don't. Look how
yeah, from this level, you know.
Like it looks haunted. Like just from history, just from all the layers of civilization.
I think they're actually trying to do a river cleanup at the moment across some areas of the Genji.
That would be fantastic if they did. Because those folk, really, come on. How much chance do they have to actually better their position?
Well, that's the thing. If people are dirt poor and they don't have a sanitary business like garbage disposal, you know, the best thing you can do to help them is go in there and provide a garbage disposal. And so look, for example, if we wanted to make a change, we could say who are the filthiest people in the world. You know, and it'd be close to Indonesia, some of the areas throughout our poorer countries, etc. The trouble that's happening in Haiti, etc. So imagine if we said what we're going to do is instead of just giving them tomato sauce for their clay dirt cookies, we actually create a sanitary system, better sewage system, create jobs.
Proper infrastructure, right? And then we got to.
How come climate change aren't talking about that? Climate change is going to say, hey, we found one piece of litter on one beach in Australia. Can every Australian pay $1,000 to get that one bit of litter? Instead of saying, how about the world put their money where their mouth is? Instead of it going to Ukraine, it goes to Haiti or Indonesia to create something that catches all of this innovation and gets rid of this garbage. Grab all the plastic, put it in one area, and burn it all in one go. There we go. Dave Pence, the rural engineer, was in charge. I say, well done, that man. Well, you don't have a choice, do you, in a situation like Zulu? You either win, or you become chapter 2 in the demise of the British tunic. Imagine how much you'd pay for a tunic that was worn at Rorke's Drift.
Oh, yeah. How amazing would that be
to have? Thank you, James, on behalf of my brother Kaz in the trenches. Poor Lisa Caswell's been living with me for more than 51 years. James.
And she obviously still loves you because she's a dedicated sister.
Yeah. She does. It's a love-hate. You know, we argue, we fight, but overall she puts up with me. Yeah.
That's
healthy. Yeah, James, basically for the next 9 days, mate, I'll be getting around with the bat phone, you know, and just basically taking it easy, trying to get this photo. The best time to ring me is through the day team, because naturally I've got to get up early to catch the sun as it comes up, the soft light of the day, and then in the afternoons with the sun going down. Yeah. I don't know what we're going to do with the channel, because the channel has fallen to a position where the views are so low and it's getting worse by the video that I'm not sure. Have we overdone military? Maybe
There
it's
might be time for
something new. Largest number of
Yeah.
Victorian crosses won at Rorke's Drift. It is true, Kristen. It is true.
That's a great bit of trivia.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that only an officer can give someone a Victoria Cross, because they normally give themselves something as well.
Yeah, again, agendas and motives.
Yeah. Otherwise, World War One, there'd be 200,000 VCs given out. If it went to who deserved it, might as well throw a VC in the bin. It's a worthless piece of shit. How can you give a VC, not give a VC to every single person at the Battle of the Neck at Gallipoli that went over the top, and watched as their brothers got blown to pieces, and then they were in the second wave, and then the third wave of the Neck, or those guys that fought against larger numbers on Kokoda or Fromelles, or at Villas Bretonneux, and this doesn't matter just for the Australians. We're talking about Indians, we're talking about Canadians, we're talking about British. There'd be so many thousands and thousands of given out. It might as well be the 4-year medal, because how can you not give one to the guy that went over the top and lost his life? You can't ask for a single thing more than that.
No, that's it. That's the ultimate.
Corporal say, you slovenly soldier. Hook! Get off that bed. Hook! As might be worth bringing in some strategic stuff into comment on. Yeah, James, I love doing reaction videos. I don't do enough of them, and I love watching them, because it allows you to see a different perspective from someone else on a topic that you're glazing over, and quite often it can change your absolute verdict on something.
Yeah, so Smokey's got a really good point there. He said, but you need to keep a lot of the military stuff because you're such a huge help for people interested in joining. And this is what we've been talking about for a few years, isn't it, Kaz? It's like finding that balance between on and doing something new and keeping it fresh for you guys who come here every week, and still giving the assistance to those who need it.
It's true. And James, you know what a good idea would be? Potentially to give like a piece of homework to the people in chat. Say, this time on this day, we're going to be talking about this battle.
You know who
the
would
timeline
have
of that.
Mr. P.
Mr. P would have loved that.
That.
What about Private Simpson of Simpson and the Donkey from Gallipoli? He was actually a Kiwi, I believe. Yeah. When you're in trouble when you're in an area with no air conditioning and an ambulance is a donkey. That's when you're in trouble. The response is going to be slow. People made do with what they had in those days, and it was amazing what they were able to achieve, and then walk away still with no hatred for who their enemy was 100 years later. And that's what we've got to be careful with what's happening with the Russia and Ukraine thing, because that soldier's not asking to go and fight. Right? Neither side is fighting by the laws of armed conflict. So you don't want to speak badly of these people for it to be the same as, did we hate the German we fought in World War I and II? Did we hate the Jap that we fought in? Probably did at the time, especially.
Well, it depends on the perspective of what happened. Is what it takes a while to go under a bridge.
Yep, it does, and you can't ask the people of the time to forgive.
I remember my great uncle and listening to them, and they had a lot of trouble letting go of some of the stuff, and because it was pretty nasty. There was reasons for sanctions and things.
Yep, you can't tell people to change their opinion on something that they were actually there.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd love for the friendship building after the war that done by Japan, the business building and friendship building after the war done by Japan, to be honoured.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, there you go. James is ex Royal Australian Medical Corps. Had a Series 1 Land Rover, and the Parenti came in with aircon in K89. Didn't have aircon. Didn't have an aircon in the in the Rovers, 49 RQR guy took his boots off and stuck out the ambulance. There you go. Oh, okay, in the ambo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
You guys had very little comfort.
Yeah. Yeah. Mate, yeah, it's different. There's so many things we can learn from, and you should be able to talk about every single subject without it getting emotional, you know?
We need people to not be hysterical.
Yeah.
We need people to just, you know, there's always something to grow or fix or change or make better. You know, just never stop realizing you don't have to be perfect. No one ever stops learning.
Well, imagine if they said to everyone, you get to put one person on a list who is the most. Who do you dislike the most in the entire world?
Like Death Note?
Yep, and you'd probably find none of us here would be on anyone's list. You know, it's just that you're close to people that have an emotional tie to you. But almost everyone, if you said, who do you hate the most in the world? It'd be someone of a position of power, celebrity, or whatever.
That the media has fed the to. Yeah, you've got to look at yourself. You've got to check yourself. Am I being led astray? You know, maybe is there more I could do to help myself and take the burden off others or society and to be able to help other people? Sometimes there's not. Sometimes the best thing you can do is ask for help.
Yeah. That's what the Beatles did. Help! Need somebody. Help! Help! Can that rich guy help me, please?
Wouldn't that be nice? We all need sugar daddy.
Yeah. Watched a video today of the American and Russian soldiers meeting in Syria. It was awesome to see how they were like with each other, basically friends. Yeah, dude, absolutely. It's you know, and Maddie there. You know, there's nothing wrong with rich people. Rich people you quite often find have worked harder than you, or worked smarter than you, or are the children of someone who, again, went without on weekends and worked. It is.
Nepo kids conversation. It's an interesting one. We'll have to have that one day.
Smokey B, I reckon, you know, I thought Hillary. If you had to put someone that you actually hate, mine would probably be Hillary because of the way she laughs at the demise of those who perish trying to do the right thing, whether it be what happened in shit. I feel bad now, lest we forget.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That really hurts my heart, and I can't get over it.
That she lied about it while she was Secretary of State.
The whole thing. Yeah. The way she laughed.
Doesn't be. Evening Kaz, and she said, "Oh, that happened. Can't we just get past that?" You feel like going, say that to their families. Yep. Evening Kaz, I agree that the ADF topic has been almost entirely covered. Most of the people who used your videos to help them are probably now serving. Agree. Don't stop though; it'll pick up eventually. Oh, no, I don't think it. I don't think it will, mate, because it's actually getting smaller.
We thought that about a year ago.
Yep. Yep. You got to remember, this channel had 16,000 people 3 years ago. It's only on 13,000 something now. It should have gone straight from 16 to 10. You know, I would have thought about that. You know, 6,000. Okay, didn't realize it's exactly the same name channel. You know, but it's actually getting small. Thank you very much, Private Paul Benghazi. Yep. The Royals. I like the Royals. I don't like Meghan and Harry.
I was thinking when you said, who do you hate? And I thought, well, I'm because of my faith, I'm meant to fight hating people. But I really hate people's behaviour sometimes. And do you know, they are up there. They are up there. Behaviour, I think, needs to take a total turn.
Because it's deliberate.
They are just one big party.
Yeah.
That's totally not what.
It's like at the moment, we're about to do great things. You know, I'll never talk bad about this channel because, for example, because we're about to go and do nice things for people in India and then nice things for people in Vietnam. So it's amazing. I'm stoked. I paid for my ticket today. I'm going there. I'm going to smell like turmeric real soon. But it would be great when that what you could do for someone in Australia wouldn't make really a difference. It'd be a nice gesture. But when you do it for someone in one of these countries, you've actually changed their life in some
It's a
ways.
huge difference because these problems we're talking about, right?
Mm.
They are so much more compounded in nations that don't have the infrastructure we have.
Yep. Yep.
So they're facing the same. This housing crisis is global. The same as the financial crisis, supply crisis, a
Yep.
war like affects the whole world.
Sorry. Christian, joint videos with serving members of different job roles. You can't. That's the whole thing about this channel. You can't do any videos with anyone that's serving at all. They have to go through a media officer and normally have to be an officer before they can actually communicate on a channel. We need to open up and use for good, if that's even possible. With this generation would go crazy. If you allowed soldiers, they're around 18, 19, 20, 21 now, take their phone and be making videos, that potentially that can be monetized to the range, to Tully, all that.
Let them. Yeah.
Well, America totally does.
Some of our friends.
People are insubordinate against their own boss.
Yep.
On American
TikTok
YouTube channels.
Yep.
Turmeric in India and fish sauce in Vietnam. It doesn't sound succulent, James.
Not together.
Yeah, so most things have a degree of an answer to it, but there's a lot of things that prevent it. Someone just said up there they hate anything that is aimed at children, for example.
It's smoky.
That's what everyone should think, but it's weird. They don't. And you're not allowed to say anything about it because it comes under the Rainbow Coalition and they're having a civil war there about it themselves where it makes them angry too.
They're conversations that need to be had though, and I'm at least glad people are having conversations.
Well, now we're even seeing school teachers deliberately trying to bring it in. You're going, how is this happening at our schools?
This is concerning. It's a nightmare for me to live in a society where majority.
James Morris, ADF policy to reduce intelligence information patrol. Mate, this has been going on since the army existed. Australia has always been really behind the eight ball. If we had videos that were put out by injured soldiers that were allowed to cover things in a candid way of live fire activities, of following on, shut your mouth, follow a patrol that's going on. Maybe they make videos where no conversation is allowed to be used for commentary. So what you're saying is, how fit do I need to be an Australian soldier? That fit. That pack looks heavy. That hill looks hard to climb. Those guys, I don't think I could keep up with them. That looks a little bit harder than what I thought it'd be. Let the reality of the video show people what is behind the wet clothes, dirty clothes, smelly clothes, leeches. Have all that sort of shit. Show people cutting ticks out of other people's heads with a can opener.
I would feel better. Like, here's fire protection for our consumer rights. And I hate that the ADF recruiting doesn't have to meet the same protections that someone advertising their innovative product would. They have to meet what they say they'll meet, and if what they're showing isn't the truth, the disclaimer, even just a little thing across the bottom, saying not an accurate representation of life in the ADF. Perfect. Fine, just do that. But I think it's leading. I think it's nefarious at this point.
Absolutely.
Because we've been saying this for years. It's not like nobody's heard.
Well, we're turning our soldiers into mercenaries by using money as the incentive for them to stay. And now they'll stay for the incentives instead of the career. We've got Dave Penson there from Vietnam, ex-serving war officer there. I'm doing a tour tomorrow out to Nui Dat, which is in the Phoc Choy province over in Vietnam, and Long Tan. He's doing it to raise money to build housing for the needy in Vietnam. What a legend.
I love that, Dave.
It feels weird when people use a whole name. David.
Sorry, I like that.
You're soaking in it. Can we get some thumbs up there for Dave? Nui Dat, that's where I want to go in in April to where my dad served. So I can go over there.
Lisa.
See you later, Lisa. Love your sister. I'm going to go and get a photo of the toilet where Dad buried it when we were kids. And that's going to be your photo.
Happy New Year, Lisa.
Happy New Year. I love you, sis.
Yeah, what about what Mr. Green said? How about a new channel?
Yeah,
Paz
well.
Adventures with Paz in the Shaggin' Wagon.
Oh, the van man. No free lollies here, bitch. You got free lollies? No, mate. They're not free lollies. They're $5. It's not as sleazy when they've got to pay. Yeah, Bucko, that's a definite thing that I'd love to do. Is a second channel.
It's not even just about what everyone else wants. I'd like to know what.
Well, there's two things I'd love to do. I'd love to have a video which is about traveling around the van. But the other one is I'd love to have a channel which is all about stories. And I don't mean military. I mean making up fiction stories.
Yeah.
You know, where you drop people's subscribers' names into it like we started to do with the war series and where you can just concentrate on using, where are we, Miss Jane? This microphone I bought years ago. This is the Zoom 500, the H5 Zoom. This one here. It's $500. I bought that for this channel, which should be there. Perfect sound, professional sound. I've thought about carrying that around and just making scripts and read it, and then occasionally saying, "Hey, dudes, Lauren, can you just say these lines for me so I can record that, then drop them into said stories?" You know,
I already said yes.
Yeah, there you go. So I'd love that. It's just so tiring doing YouTube because the expectation of a listener, and I'm guilty for it too with the channels I love, you know, where you want them to have another video out, another video out, another video out. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes if they try to change direction, people don't like it.
Look, I see channels all the time on YouTube which are spectacular. The amount of work that has been put into them is amazing. And then you see their views are 333 and shit like that. You're going, dude, you know, they must be so upset with the amount of work they did. You know?
Travel vlogs when you're in Vietnam or street interviews would be fun to watch.
Street interviews are one of my favourites.
Yeah, I love that too. I've wanted to let go.
Yep. That would be good. You just need a second person for it.
Yeah, I agree.
And Aaron, okay, has got his own family. He's got his own shit. Yeah. But let's see how we go.
Yeah. Give it a
whirl.
That's my motto.
Give it a whirl. Hope you don't get motion sickness. If you're a new subscriber, just let us know right now so we can give you a thumbs up and make you welcome in 2022. You know, so then you can say you've been here for 2 years when you're here 2 days from now.
Yeah, exactly. We'll make a big deal out of it. We won't mention it.
Yeah, it's true, Mr. Buckaroony. We both agree on that.
That's age old, though. Next tells.
Yeah, and you know what? It's just, I hate to say it, it's not fucking fair. There is nothing worse than seeing those that are goddamn lazy who just undo one button and can get, you know, $1 million channel with nothing to contribute. You know, it's, hey, James, it's enough for no more donations, sir.
Oh, that's a nice thing.
Kaz, will put my father's ashes in the ground on the 10th of January, 4AR, Borneo, Malaysia, Vietnam, and 9RAR. Brother and his family from the USA, my mother and Mrs. Ned Devine's parting glass with whiskey send-off. Nutsu cow, mate. Can we get some thumbs up there for the laying to rest? What's your father's name, mate? James, can you let us know what your father's name is, mate, so we can just do a quick send-off to him in 2022?
That's a beautiful thing to do.
What a lovely thing, yeah. You know, we all know, James, you probably don't know about this, but my daughter hates me from the waist down. She reckons my Really,
I've heard it from her own darling mouth.
She goes, "I hate your chicken legs. I'm gonna take the ashes from your legs and throw them in a bin. But the rest of me," she said, she's going to throw in the ocean where I want to be.
I agree, Smokey. I think it's because
Smokey.
or sold. You can't really be sold, and that doesn't go down well.
Look, people don't like to know that people watch channels that will affect them or something that affects them, and 99% of people are never going to, even if conflict came to their country, would put on a uniform to defend said country. So why would they care about a military channel? Yeah, I get that. I chose the topic this channel would be about. I just thought it would bounce back after the first channel.
Do you think maybe it's just lived its lifespan?
Yeah, of course, probably.
Everything has a beginning and an end.
Yep.
You've got to be okay with it, as well as beginning.
So what the hell happens if this ends up with a bat phone and then it ends up with a Deadpool phone for the other channel? That'd kill me. I'm starting to look like a drug dealer from bloody Kristen. Kaz, all you have to do is to start a Twitch channel and sit in a hot tub with a bikini on. You'll make the big bucks. Yeah. You know what? The one thing I've realised from looking at a lot of YouTube channels, and Mr. Buckaroony and I used to follow some of the similar ones, is never sell your soul on YouTube, because once you do, you can't come back.
Sure.
Some of the worst things that can happen to some channels is they make a lot of money, if that's what they were doing it for, and then from there the golden handcuffs are on and they go down some really grubby alleys.
Indeed, and look.
True, James.
I don't have
True.
any shade for whatever you've got to do, but truthfully, think about it first, because you've got to self-respect.
Yeah.
It's, to me, that's going to be one of the very last things I live.
Well, one of the ones I saw a couple of days ago, I had no context to it whatsoever, and it was Andrew Tate, and he was sitting beside, I believe, a beautiful woman, a black woman, and they were sitting there, and there was this, I believe she was ugly, the one in the center that thought she was amazing, but the woman with that was making the complaint was the dark skinned woman, the black woman, and she's going, "Why is it, Andrew Tate, that you get treated like the legend while I get treated badly?" And I didn't know what her background was, but it was a reaction video. I'm going, "Oh, yeah, okay." And I'm listening, but then they were on the iPad beside it and did some research on her, and she slept with a whole basketball team. She'd been with 25 different men that were all athletes, and you're going, "That's a little bit different, bro." And she'd done it online as well, apparently, a lot of stuff. You're going, you can't compare yourself. It was horrible. Then I realised why she had such a bad name. Yeah. But
I'd be devastated.
But she put it on YouTube, and you're going, you wonder why you can't escape it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think we fairly have a pretty good idea of why the algorithm as it is can't exactly pick us up and throw us into people's. They could, but why they won't. I think we know that.
As long as you know you've got a place you can go to, you've got a place where you can talk about things. And you know what? If you've got topics that you're hot to talk about, all you have to do is send me a message. I see every single message that comes through here, every one. And if it's good, we'll do it. Sleek. Sleek is a mom boys. You don't want to flex off me at the moment, mate. I feel like Ellen DeGeneres at the moment.
Oh, come on.
Ellen the Degenerate. Men respect purity and don't want someone else for the streets. Absolutely. Just that we are at an age that we are not as fast as the young ones, but with wisdom and willing to stand guard and defend a position. Yep. All you need to do is understand that you love your country, that when no one's watching, you still do the right thing. You pick up that paper that you walk over, that you're kind to people, that you give a thumbs up to a kid that walks past smiling. You just do those little nice things. So if you were replicated throughout the world, it would be a net positive to society. Now, if you do that, what more can we ask from you?
There's a good question here from Conrad.
Yeah, I was starting to read that. Can you read it out? Your voice is better than mine.
Okay, he said, mate, I've been offered paramedic and medic in the army and air.
Of course.
Could you let me know what the difference is? I'm also considering combat engineer.
Okay. Now, this is the thing. This is what's hard to understand. There's no such thing as a paramedic in the Army or the Air Force, basically. There's medic, and that's basically it. There's combat medic, which is normally also another infantry qualified combat medic. It's just a play of words. We've only got medics, and it's not like um, there's like that bell curve in the Australian Army where we've got a lot of people in medics that are absolute slobs, and then we've got some people that are absolute guns that you look at and go, "What are you doing in medics?" But why would I say that? Because that's where you want your better, strongest, most stoic, fittest, capable people. Is actually the medics that can put Humpty Dumpty together again. But when they use paramedic, you're going, that's implying that when someone is injured on the battlefield, you guys suddenly come over in some sort of vehicle, create a secure location and look after them. And that doesn't happen. So I don't know what that is other than a play of words to bring people into the military. First, everyone in the medical corps is like a first responder to the soldier once he comes off the helo. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think what we do is we try to replicate what we see Americans doing sometimes, and then we change the names around, but we get it twisted. James Towner, Kaz, what's your take on Andrew Tate, human moving allegations? So many people. I think he's innocent, mate, because what they're talking about, that human moving, as you call it, that is a very, very vague spectrum. To me, that means someone is doing something against their will. And I've never seen anyone come out. And you know what? In today's day and age, when someone is a billionaire, it's not hard to get someone to make up bullshit for the right price either. And we're seeing that happen in some young ladies they're in Australia too.
Exactly. We want honesty in advertising.
Yeah. Conrad, I'm 38, was in 4th Lancers back in the Territorial 20 years ago. There you go. 38. 2 more years and you're not allowed to make any more mistakes, mate. Smokey B. Jordan, that is the second time he has been accused of, yep. And the first time was proven to be a load of poo, yep. So that says enough. They've been offered a lot of roles, but not sure which direction to go. You know what? And this is a sad thing, Conrad. You would know exactly what you want to do if you'd done after Kapuka, but instead they want you to lock into a role before you know what you're getting into, which is the reason why we have so many people go to Kapuka and then realise, you know what, I don't like this bullshit. I don't want to go to infantry anymore. But they're making people lock into the position that they know nothing about, and that's not fair. Make people earn their position at Kapuka, and then they get the role they earned. That makes sense.
Yeah. Good night, Dad.
Good night, Daz. We're going to get out of here too. Dave, you've got a big day at Newey Dat, mate, and I'm really, really proud of you. And I can't wait to go there and lay down, hopefully at Long Tan, where my mum and dad's friend, Maxie Wales, got killed at Long Tan. Bucko, listen to him a little bit closer. There's a lot of truth in what he says, but he's very bipolar. That's for sure.
Yeah, you don't have to like someone.
Yeah.
They might just be a dickhead. Doesn't mean they're, as bad as everyone tells you they are.
Yeah.
I try not to get caught up in it. But sometimes you look and you go, wait a minute.
And look, and the thing is, if there's 1,000 videos about someone, you might have watched 500 videos that I didn't watch, and I might see 500 videos you haven't watched.
You know me, I don't even know who I know who, and I talk about him occasionally, so I don't feel qualified to comment.
And I don't worship celebrity either.
Yep. Yeah, no, I hate it. Yeah. I feel about it, and I know you're the same. It's one of my favorite things.
I can like the message without liking the person.
Yeah, sure. There's still a person.
Oh, what a great name. Trixie Paramilitary Modelling. Mate, I am the biggest fan before my eyes started to go of painting Romans. So that's, where are we? I've got hundreds of them that I painted the Roman models, and that was meant to be, one for each person in Patreon. But my eyes now might as well be cloth buttons from Caroline.
Caroline.
For those that don't know, Mr. Buckarooni's got a channel team on camping, common sense, larrikinism, charities that he helps, animals being the main focus. Fantastic channel.
Being a general round good Italian.
Servant of the nation.
Exactly.
Calls himself Mister to feel important, but he's old enough.
I think he's earned the right to help.
I've earned the right to be right.
Yeah.
Cloth buttons, Mr. Buckaroony. There you go. I'm going to go and eat some salmonella pizza. If Achilles has been pretty quiet, which means he's probably chomping on something.
Oh, God, remember your list.
Yeah. Dave worried I'm too old with, so yes, I know that the graft is hard, but no, it leads to my dream of EOD. Okay, well, it takes
What's an EOD?
Explosive ordnance.
Okay, all right.
That is a good influence for teens that need to start becoming men. You have to remember he plays a character when online. He does. Ace. All righty then. Kristen, good night, guys. See you next year. I look forward to Kapuka on the 27th of January. Yes.
Exciting.
Yep. And that sounds like the pilot course too there, Kristen. Now, don't go and hurt yourself like lovely Ellie did. We're going to buy Ellie, like I was saying before, Ellie lost her father 9 years ago. So because she's blown her knee out and can't actually basically focus on what's going to happen next year, what we're going to do is I'm going, at this stage, still going to Byron Bay, and I'm going to go to Craig Parry's photography place and get her a nice little gift there, just to maybe put on there to let her know that we've got hopes for her in the future and that we support her while she's down. So, yeah. It's unfortunate when people get injured just before it's time to actually do their bit.
That's why you've got to be careful getting prepared too, right? Don't
You
try
do.
not to hurt you.
Yep. I'm okay with that, Smokey B.
Same.
You know what?
We're both fine.
If you asked everyone the reason why they do what they do, you'd be very pleasantly or shockingly surprised that when you hear both sides to all arguments, you'd go, "Oh shit, there was more to that than I thought."
Exactly. And even when you and I say a gender motive got them, that doesn't mean they're bad or nefarious.
Yep.
I even saving up for a car is gender motive.
Well, if someone likes someone that I don't normally like, Mr. Buckaroony, they probably say the same about you, me, and Lauren, mate.
But that's fine.
Yeah. The one thing I will tell you from an older bloke is, put your thumbs up if it's happened to you too. The amount of times that I've backed the wrong horse by listening to one side of the story and coming in like the cavalry only to find out my friend was the dickhead.
I do that because I'm like you too. I don't like to hear people done by and that, and it's you just have to stop, collaborate.
Yep.
Like I named Vanilla Ice.
Stop collaborating.
Exactly.
Peace to your mum. Hey, Mr. Fred, how you going, mate? Mr. Freddy 95. Get in trouble for saying this at RMC. Happy New Year, dudes and dudettes.
That should cover everyone, shouldn't it?
Yeah. Okay, guys, let's get out of here. The green eye of truth. For those that don't know, that's a green screen behind me, which means you can look at everything like so. And you can see straight through it. You can see straight through me the truth that lies behind. That's what I should do. Have truth written behind me, and then truth. Okay, put a thumbs. Put a brown hand if you want me to go and drink the water of the Ganges. And let's see if we can do it. Do it to them before they do it to you. None of you's got it. Hill Street Blues. Mr. Buckaroo, you'd have to know that show. One of the oldest police shows that was ever on TV. Hill Street Blues, it was
I
called.
haven't thought about that for a long time.
It was a great one. Okay, first female action hero.
Yeah, don't tell Ripley.
Yep, Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney Weaver in Alien. One of the best movies that's ever been made. If you haven't seen it, break out of jail now. Go and check it out. Brown hands from Mr. Buckaroo.
They were some of the best movies. Yeah, just happened in the last few weeks because of that.
Yeah. I love what's her name? My favourite one of the year for 2022 was definitely Alyssa Milano, getting rid of a African American's car, being a Tesla, because she thought he was a white supremacist, only to buy a VW whose car plant was opened by Hitler.
Hang on, yeah, aren't they? That's the people bargain.
Yeah, people bargain. Okay.
Oh, never mind. Sausages, aren't they? Hollywood.
Like we said today, you can't trust celebrities, the actresses, the models, etc., because they used to be, at the bottom of society.
That's right.
Not
exactly.
the top.
And they're maybe not as free as you think they are.
No, absolutely not.
Yep. Exactly right.
Be careful
James,
who you want to be with, because it might not be the red carpet you expect.
Exactly. Can I just tell James where he can see my art?
Absolutely.
James, yeah, over. You can just go to Instagram if you're on there, and it's Lauren is blessed. But if you go to Kaz, you'll find me through there. Mostly Instagram. I don't post a lot of it.
I'm going to jump off here now. I'm going to jump off the phone. I'm going to quickly ring Mr. Buckaroo in case he's not going to be on again before New Year's to allow him to say goodbye to everyone, okay?
All right then. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much. I'll call you later.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye.
Bye. Hey, Siri, call Mr. Buckaroo.
Calling Mr. Buckaroo home.
Here he is, Mr. Buckaroo. If he sounds old and wise, he is. I agree, Jason. Bucko, not like you to get shy, sir. She was hot, Mr. Alyssa Milano was. Bucko, you going to answer the phone or not?
Hi, you've reached Paul's phone. Leave a message, I'll get back to you. Thank you.
Now you know his name. All right. Silence is the is the answer, I guess. Let's get out of here, team. Buck is full of sage advice. He is. The pink hand. I like that. Anyway, team, let's get out of here. All the best to you. 2023. In conclusion, I really do think that we've got some more hurt coming our way. All you got to do is look after those that are close to you. Eat some Sardine sticks. Stock up on toilet rolls. And remember, the world owes us nothing. It ain't personal. And everyone's copping it a little bit square up a round hole at the moment. See you later. Be yourself, the best version of you. Pick up a piece of garbage and say good day to a stranger. See ya. Ellie, if you're watching, mate, get better soon. Right? Time to hit the road.